this video, we're spotlighting 10 underrated horror films that deserve far more recognition. Slow burns, hidden gems, and unsettling stories that stay with you long after the credits rolled. Number 10. Sauna. In the unsettling aftermath of the brutal Russo-Swedish War of 1590 to 1595, two Finnish brothers are commissioned to help chart a new border between Sweden and Russia. Their journey through mist-shrouded marshlands, shadowed by the weight of past violence and guilt. As they trudge through this desolate terrain, their unresolved sins seem to follow them like a silent, unseen presence, urging them toward a remote settlement nestled deep within the swamp. Masterfully blending historical horror with eerie folklore, Finnish director Antti Anila crafts a somber tale of inner torment and ritual purification that lingers long after the embers fade. Number 9. Cold Prey. In the remote Norwegian expanse of Jotunheimen, 5 young friends set out on a snowboarding trip deep into the winter wilderness, laughter and freedom filling the crisp mountain air. When one of them suffers a severe injury far from civilization and darkness creeps across the peaks, the group stumbles upon a long, deserted ski lodge, its empty corridors seeming almost welcoming after a day in the frost. But as night settles and the temperature plummets, they discover this secluded refuge is anything but abandoned, and something unseen stalks the silent halls with chilling intent. Directed by Roar Uthog, Cold Prey blends classic slasher elements with icy isolation, drawing out tension through stark landscapes and the creeping unease of unseen threats in the shadows. Number 8. Mother's Day.
Be very unhappy.
You taught them to be killers!
I taught them to survive.
In a quiet suburban town, a lively housewarming party ignites with laughter, music, and the warmth of new beginnings, until the evening's calm fractures with the violent arrival of 3 fugitives fleeing the aftermath of a failed bank heist. Desperate and wounded, the brothers burst into an unfamiliar home, intent on refuge and answers, only to discover the property now belongs to unsuspecting hosts and their friends. As the tension escalates and control slips from one hand to another, the looming presence of a domineering matriarch enters this volatile mix, shifting every tense moment into a darker, more unpredictable threat. Mother's Day seethes with psychological terror rooted in twisted loyalties, fractured family bonds, and the chilling intimacy of a home turned into a battleground of fear. Number 7. Dark Skies. In an ordinary suburban neighborhood, the Barrett family's everyday life of school runs, weekend chores, and quiet dinners is suddenly pierced by an unsettling pattern of unexplained events that begin to disrupt their home and sanity. Strange noises in the night, objects out of place, and eerie signs that defy simple explanation push parents Lacey and Daniel to question whether something beyond the ordinary is intruding on their family's peace. As the incidents climb in frequency and intensity, they are driven to seek answers and confront a force that seems both impossible and relentless in its focus on them. Dark Skies blends science fiction with psychological horror, using the intimate setting of family life and creeping phenomena to explore fear of the unknown. Number 6. Kidnapped.
Siento mucho haber molestado a los vecinos.
In the quiet of a newly purchased suburban home, a family's first night should be filled with promise and settling in. But that fragile calm shatters when 3 masked intruders crash through their doors with ruthless precision. What begins as a forced demand for compliance and control quickly turns into a harrowing ordeal, where the family's sense of safety erodes under relentless pressure, testing the bonds between parents and their daughter in ways they never anticipated. As outside help feels impossibly distant, every second inside the house becomes a tense negotiation between survival and survival instinct, with danger's presence lurking in every corner. Kidnapped is an intense home invasion thriller that immerses viewers in a claustrophobic struggle. Number 5. Switchblade Romance. quiet expanse of the French countryside, two close friends escape city life for a weekend of study and respite at a secluded farmhouse. Sunlight warming the rolling fields and the promise of carefree moments lingering in the air. But their plans for peace are violently interrupted when an unpredictable and merciless stranger descends upon the rural home, turning the peaceful setting into a night where every shadow feels like a threat. As safety dissolves with every passing hour, the bond between the friends is tested against mounting pressure and the relentless presence of danger that seems always just beyond sight. Directed by Alexandre Aja, Switchblade Romance blends visceral slasher energy with psychological intensity. Number 4. Housebound. When wayward Kylie Bucknell is sentenced to months of house arrest, she's forced back into the rambling home she long escaped, under the watchful eye of her chatty mother and the grip of an ankle monitor that dooms her to its walls. What should be a boring sentence of confinement soon twists into something far stranger as unexplained sounds, eerie shadows, and strange disturbances begin to unsettle even her seasoned skepticism. Directed by Gerard Johnstone, Housebound blends horror with dry humor and creeping tension, using its closed-in setting and a simmering sense of the uncanny to explore how confinement can turn the ordinary into something deeply unsettling. Number 3. Brand Upon the Brain. A man returns to the fog-laced island of his childhood, summoned by a letter that stirs the ghosts of his forgotten past. There, in the decaying lighthouse that once served as his parents' orphanage, memories bloom like bruises, visions of strange experiments, watchful eyes and forbidden longing twisting through the halls. Tasked with repainting the structure, he finds himself trapped in a storm of recollection, where each stroke of the brush reveals something more sinister beneath. Told in haunting black and white, with narration echoing like a fever dream, the film drips with silent-era surrealism and the eerie ache of buried trauma. The film, a gothic kaleidoscope of childhood horror, fractured memory, and emotional decay. A chilling descent into the unspoken terrors we lock away in the walls of home. Number 2. Antibodies. In the tense corridors of Berlin's law enforcement world, a remote village police officer finds his quiet life disrupted when a notorious serial killer is captured after years of terror, bringing a grim surge of attention to the case that has haunted his small community for years. Tasked with questioning this chilling figure, the officer enters a verbal battleground where truth and manipulation blur under the shadow of past pain and unanswered questions. Antibodies intertwines crime thriller intensity with dark psychological tension, using stark interrogation and moral conflict to explore how obsession and evil can mirror even the most dedicated search for justice. Number 1. I Saw the Devil. In the unforgiving winter chill of South Korea, a seasoned intelligence agent's life fractures into a relentless pursuit when a remorseless serial killer shatters his world, leaving a trail of terror that defies all reason. Drawn into a game of psychological cat and mouse, the agent tracks the elusive predator across stark landscapes and urban shadows, their intertwined fates dragging each deeper into a world where justice and vengeance bleed into one another. The film marries taut horror thriller precision with an unyielding exploration of vengeance's corrosive cost, crafting a harrowing journey into the darkest corridors of obsession where survival itself feels precariously out of reach. Here are 4 other movies you have to see. The Devil's Backbone. A young boy is left at a remote orphanage during the turmoil of war, where eerie whispers and strange occurrences unsettle the quiet halls. He begins to sense that the old building holds secrets far beyond its peeling walls. Ghostly echoes and unexplained events give the place a story of loss and lingering presence. Through its atmospheric setting, the film explores innocence caught between the living and the unseen. Next Door. A solitary man's life shifts when two enigmatic neighbors invite him into their world, blurring the line between curiosity and danger. What begins as casual interest soon pulls him into unpredictable interactions that challenge his sense of control. Strange events escalate as he becomes entangled in their lives. The quiet suburban environment becomes a backdrop for psychological tension and unsettling play. Inside. On a quiet night, a heavily pregnant woman preparing for the arrival of her child finds her solitude interrupted by a mysterious intruder at her door. The unexpected visit quickly turns her home into a place of escalating fear as intentions become unclear. Tension mounts within the confined interior, where every knock and shadow feels charged with threat. Tony. In a rundown London neighborhood, an isolated man wanders city streets with few connections and few prospects for change. His days are shaped by social anxiety, aimless routines, and a fixation on old action movies. Beneath his unremarkable exterior lies a hidden life marked by eerie patterns that unsettle those who catch a glimpse. The film observes his world with quiet unease, lingering on how ordinary settings mask deeper disquiet.